Good evening, or morning, or afternoon, depending on when you all are watching this. It's late. It is late, but I just finished working on some stuff, and I just want to come briefly and talk about something, kind of as a precursor to what's coming out up next, and most likely it is going to be live. So I guess consider this a heads up. I don't know if I'm going to schedule it. I probably won't. You guys just have to um, check back maybe tomorrow. It'll most likely be in the morning time. Yeah. Or if not, the next day in the morning. But yeah, I just had some things that I wanted to talk about. Some things I wanted to just move forth with in general. If you all have been around here, you know when I do speak on things and I say I'm going to come back and expand and break things down, I do because I just don't like to, one and done. Sometimes one and done is fine, but a lot of the times there are things that I am really um, just getting into, and then I get questions later on after, I get lots of questions for years. So I just like to come back and just talk about, break things down, and keep it going. Sometimes what I do is kind of start things and not, I don't want to say a double negative, but I don't start things and not finish them. I start them and give you all bits and pieces, just what I think you can handle. Cause yeah, uh, yeah, some people just can't handle things. And what's gonna happen in this next chat? Um, a lot of you, I may take you out of your comfort zone, but if you know me, you know me, and either you're here for it or you're not. I don't sugarcoat things, and I'm not looking for, it's not a dog and pony show at all. You come for education, for some knowledge, for some wisdom, um, you know, perspective, some insight on some things. And like I said, I just break it off into bite sized pieces and, put it out there like that because to there's a lot that I can say, um, a lot that people are asking me to speak on. Um, yeah, it's a lot. But like I said, sometimes it's not the time. Also, there's a certain time I don't just come on and do speak about. Yes, sometimes are random, but specific topics. You guys know. A lot of times I come with notes and all kind of stuff. This one I'm going to free, just freestyle it. But I've been going over for a long time in my head how it's going to play out. And like I said, I'm only, segment by segment. So you'll have to watch all of them. The first one, I can't remember when I did that video, but it probably was March, maybe. It had to be March. Had to be around March. Excuse me, y'all. Ragweed is high and it's irritating everybody. And so I'm not going to be on here that long because I just took some allergy stuff. And yeah. And plus, my battery is low. So that's the reason why I went ahead and did this because I know I'm not going to stay on here all night. Um, Culturally grounding your homeschool. That was the topic of that live chat. And I kind of, talked about a lot of things and just waited, it's out there, waited for a response and things like that. And so, and I did say I would, come back and keep it going, but hopefully that gave, some of you some, perspective and insight into how things can be. And I really don't want to say should be because I don't want to tell somebody how they should do, but at the same time, I am. Okay. It is important. If you watch that chat and you took anything away from it, you will understand what I'm saying in homeschooling these children, how very important. And that wasn't the first time I had discussed that. You guys know I always give you books and resources and things. And I spoke on how you have to be careful introducing things, books, and things like that to your children because sometimes what we view as fine and whether we read in its entirety or skip over or take omit, um we think it's fine, but little children are very, very clever. And I told you, above any words in any book, the most important thing are the images. The images. The images are what the kids are going to remember the most. The words, they will draw images within their mind. And I spoke about being careful on just anything you introduce to them. Most of you don't read everything you give your children. I do. Everything they watch, I preview because the slightest little incident in a book, whether or it's it's uh, worded or written word or the image, you have no idea how that is going to affect that child for the rest of their life. So you have to be very, very careful, very careful. Um, yeah, and you guys, believe it or not, I'm not the only one that does this, and I'm not saying that just people of color have to be careful because other people are also careful. Okay, I pay attention to things and I see all the time. The flip side, I just some of our material and things that we use. You all know what I'm talking about when I give you resources, things that you all find, what have you related to African American specifically. You won't find other cultures giving that to their children. They're just not. And really, I mean, they shouldn't, but they should, okay? What I'm saying is they need to introduce their own culture and be familiar, know about their own culture first, just like us. Homeschooling. I'm gonna get into it in the next little live chat, but like I said, I get a lot of questions, I get comments and things like that. I get a lot of feedback, a lot of you know, appreciation and things like that. But what I am observing and what I know from what I know, what I gather, what I see, like I said, I still need to put some more out there. I just have to break it up and hopefully, you know, it'll hit somewhere where it needs to. And as much as I say, I'm not sure, somebody always comes in. You guys, I just so appreciate the comments and things like that and the feedback. I really do. Because I just sometimes don't know. And like I said, some of you, I am going to take out of your comfort zone. So if you're watching this and you're already, in your feelings about something or feeling some type of way about me, then don't watch anything else. That's all I have to say. Because, I'm here. It's my channel, and who gonna stop me, boo? Okay, I'm not trying to offend anybody, anything like that. You watch other people tell you all kinds of hoo ha, and it's entertaining. It's whatever. I'm doing the same thing. Okay, but just keeping it real. Y'all, I'm so tired. I'm gonna get off of here in a minute. But what I can say is I am very humbled by those comments and the feedback and the views and things like that. Very, very humbled. Um, but sometimes I see some things, I hear some things, I read some things that yes, is I appreciate this. I do this. This is how I do things. I do it like you. You guys, like I said, this is not a dog and pony show. I'm not, we're friends. We're friends here, okay? We're friends and family, okay? I'm not looking for your what's the word I want to use? Um I can't even think of the word. I cannot think of the word. I can't think. My mind is drawing a blank. I'm just gonna explain it. You guys understand what I'm saying. Don't try to get on my good side by saying you do something or you have something or something like that. I'm telling you about, and you really don't, or just don't. It doesn't. I'm not judging anybody. I've never. I know I don't judge anybody at all. I don't. If you don't, I'm just. A lot of you are oblivious to some things that I put out there, so I'm just sharing. But you're not going to get on my good side like that because when I start breaking it down and I pay attention, I really pay attention. I can go back and I can say, oh, so and so said, I may have a question for so and so. So if you can't answer that question, that right there will tell me you just said that and it really wasn't true. Okay. I don't, and again, I'm not trying to call out anybody, but I'm just saying sometimes I genuinely do have questions like that. So all that to say, some of you also, that say, yeah, I do this like you. Whether if you took something away and you learn something and you start to implement some things, okay, that's fine. But also when I see if you are here on the YouTube and have a channel and produce these videos, what I'm seeing is nothing like what I am presenting. And it's to me just seems like um you just trying to be friendly. I don't know, get on my good side. I don't know how else to put that. It's a word. I can't think. It's late. Y'all know. That's just a medication. I'm drowsy. But I'm still seeing a lot of, and I said this before. I said this before, and I'm gonna say this again. And the next one, I don't know what it is. If we are, well, I do know what it is. We are still not me, but I'm saying we as a people afraid to share, but not only share. It's not even about sharing. I don't want to put that out there because some of us just cannot. It just is not going to happen. But to teach our children the way we need to teach them, we are very closeted, and some of us it's like we have to uh, yeah, we're gonna go buy a couple African American books and all this good stuff, but the rest of the stuff has nothing to do with us. But oh yeah, the law said we have to learn this and we have to do this and we have to do that. And okay, I said this before. Some of us removed the children or made the decision to not put them into charter, private, public, whatever. Don't want to indoctrinate my kids. We're not about that life around here. But you're doing it at home. Sis, some of y'all, seriously, a lot of y'all, okay, are indoctrinating these kids at home. And that is so, so dangerous because those are your own kids. It's bad to be indoctrinated by somebody else, but for you to say, I don't want my children in this situation or environment or learning facility or whatever for XYZ reason, and you turn around and do it at home, what? Really? No, sis. No. Mm-mm. You just totally missed it. I see some stuff like, I'm gonna come back with it. I'm gonna come back with it. Oh, we're gonna learn about what? The Roman Empire. We're gonna learn about the Greeks. We got a unit study. We got all the books. That's indoctrination, y'all. That's blatant indoctrination. There is nothing that our children need to learn about that. Nothing other than the fact that they was thieves. Period. And I'm going to come back and I will come back and explain that. I'm not the only one saying that. I'm going to show you something or maybe just read it. But I'm not the only one that's not, as much as I want to take credit, I can't. I just know things. I study. But yeah, and stuff like that, that's not something we need to spend no money on books. We definitely shouldn't be doing no units. Um, None of that stuff. All we need to learn about that, like I just said it. I just said it. They were thieves. Okay, they stole everything. Period. That's all they need to know. The history that we need to learn, teach these children our history. They need to know where we come from. They don't need to know nothing about no Greeks, Roman gods, all of them, Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, they don't need to know about none of that. Not our children. But you want to do that because that's what's accepted. That's what's being said. Do this over here. Trust me, your children don't have questions about that. A lot of these kids don't even know who them people are. They could care less. And when they do, and that's only because you're going to say something or somebody, they're exposed to it somewhere. When they do, guess what? You have already centered them. Okay? You hand them a book, something on their level, nothing fancy. Maybe find a video, few minutes. Make sure you previewed it, make sure you watched it, read it, whatever, and say, here you go. Don't say anything else about it. You're not sitting there teaching and preaching and writing all the terms, pulling out the maps. The map of Africa is all we need. And we're going to get rid of Africa. Some of you guys are still on that. I taught you guys before. It's not Africa. Okay? You have to correct that. Correct it, correct it. Um, and that's the only way. I have said as a people, we are sick and we cannot heal because we are still living in the environment and still living the ways of the people that made us sick. It's just not going to happen. And we're dealing with a whole different generation right now. Our generation, we are homeschooling, is our future. They are on the same path. It's a curse. Y'all know it's a curse. The curse is not going to be broken through our children. Sadly to say, if we continue on this path, some of us it's already too late. I don't want to sound dull and gloomy, but for some of us it's too late because we have taken hold of these babies and started indoctrinating them because we can't put out what we want for fear of somebody saying something. Like I said, this is my channel, my home. Who gonna check me, boo? These are my kids. Nobody finna stop me. Nobody. Other cultures do the same thing. Asian culture, European culture, Spanish culture. That's what they start within their home. They teach them children where they come from their culture, their standpoint. Japanese, they want to teach math. They teach it from their cultural standpoint. Y'all know what, as a people, we have established and created and discovered. I don't think so because we in the books about the Romans and the Greeks. Okay, y'all must have forgot where they where the Romans and the Greeks got their material from. Like I said, I'm gonna break it down some more. Okay, we got to start from there. We got to take it all the way back, in order to get to the future. All the way back. You know, I have some things. I don't know if I'm gonna share some. I just got on the little Greek and Roman kick. Whatever. You guys are gonna see eventually, but like I said, my kids are centered enough to understand and know what they need to do and what they need to know so they know the difference. There's no indoctrination. My kids will in a minute check us, on some stuff. If we're telling them something and it just, don't sound right, they know in a minute. That's why we don't sugarcoat things, because kids know better. They know better. They know how to decipher. And no matter how you want to lay it out there, present it or whatever, if it's wrong, it's wrong. And that's, sometimes it's a good thing when kids, even though they're, being raised so-called, holy, not holy, but holy, and the parent still lacks, discretion on things. It's a good thing. The kids are supposed to be smarter. They are smarter. But like I said, I'm gonna break it down. The next one, you guys don't want to miss that chat. I mean, if you have to watch replay over and over again, share it. But I'm going to break down a few things, and I'm not going to. I'm gonna limit it. I'm gonna say about a half hour, even though I know I have way more. I'm just gonna break up everything I have to say um, on this culturally grounding our children and our homeschooling. Because, like I said, there's a lot. There's going to be a lot of segments to this, and it's a lot of moving parts to it, but not really, not really. Um, I've gotten some feedback on books and things like that, and I said I have books to share. I still haven't shared, and you guys really, if things are important, I share, I share, kind of, right away ish. It's been 5 quarters, so that's not right away ish. But I did tell you guys, I had tons of African American resources that I have never shared in years, and I've just been, sitting on some things. Just I have things to do, and a lot of those I am using or did use for curriculum and things like that. So, yeah, that's the reason why I didn't share. And same thing with the teaching, um, of the kids and stuff like that. Some of that stuff I can't share because it's in the curriculum. So, yeah. But like I say, I do try to come and share some things with you guys, and um, give you a little bit. But as far as what to do, how to do, like I talked about in the last live, the cultural grounding, things that you can do with these books, because a lot of us are thinking, I can't just use what's a book, Heart and Soul. Everybody knows about Heart and Soul. Kadir Nelson. I can't just. That's not a curriculum. Y'all don't get that out of your head. A curriculum. You're gonna use whatever resource you have and do with it what you need it to do. If you're teaching the alphabet, I don't. If you're teaching rhyming words, if you're teaching math, yes, you can teach math with that book. Okay, count them words, count them letters, do all kind of stuff. Multiply the page numbers. You know, see, some of y'all don't even think like that, but yeah, you can. Basic books, okay, and that's all about us. But also, I did say something about tell you guys about not all books about us are created equal, and you have to kind of spend out. So be careful when you are seeking materials. A lot of times, our materials cost more. A lot of stuff that I have found forever and ever is out of print. It's hard to find. It's expensive. And I'm not complaining at all. Most of us, I don't want to spend that much for a book. $20, $30. I will spend $500, $600. I don't care. If it's gonna give me what I need, then I would rather buy that than some cheesy whatever that is teaching supremacy. Okay, I can't. I can't do it. It won't do anything for us. It won't do anything for the kids. So, yeah, you have to be careful on those books. Uh, Some of the book you want to seek out the authors that are African American. Okay, I know I can't say not a lot, but there are a lot. You just have to look around for what you want. But there are a lot of African American books out there written by non African Americans, and kudos, but we need to come from our standpoint, y'all, for real. Um, like I say, other cultures, they're using things from their own people, written by their own people, because nobody understands us the way we understand us. And that's if you are going to use something that is has an African American cover, but the penmanship is a non-African American, you are again doing the same thing that they're doing in the school system. You are indoctrinating them. Mm-mm. You're indoctrinating them. That's just, it is what it is. It is. It's truly what it is. And like I said, I get the sis. No, no. What the kids are being taught strictly comes from people of color around here. So, I try to meet people and give them, alternatives and things like that, good alternatives if I can. But that's trusting that you all will go on and, seek out some things, do some more research on your own, because, you need that. You really need that. There are, little bits of things, but like I said, nobody knows us. You guys, the truth has been hidden and stripped from us, and all of that. So why on earth would you go back to them to learn about us when they don't care about us one way or the other? And some of the stuff, if we don't know anything, why are we putting our trust into them to teach us? They don't want us to know. Okay? They don't want us to know. And we have to, it's 2019. You have to level up. You should have been accepted that. And stop teaching these kids that. Okay? These kids have to know. And like I said, they are going to grow up and they are going to understand. And some of us are going to get some earfuls from the kids once they grow up and learn. You spend all this time doing all this homeschooling and you didn't even, what about this and what about that and all of this. And yeah. So, I mean, what I see in these books, this Greeks and Romans, stuff like that, European history. No mention of us. Where were we? The only thing, again, the only thing we hear about us over there is slavery. Where were we? That's what we need to be teaching. We don't, the invasion and who took over, all of that over there. That's not what we need to focus on at all. We need to focus on where we were and what we were doing. You don't see any of us in those books. Okay? There's a reason for that. So stop feeding it to the kids saying this is good, this is good. That is not good. That is not good at all. The images that you sharing with those kids, the stories in that is stories, okay? The images, that stuff is going to give them kids nightmares or something. I'm just y'all, I'm being real. That's just like I don't know how else to say it, but it's scary. It's really, really scary. Okay. There is more out there. Ask. That's why I always ask you guys to ask me. Don't be afraid. Come to me and ask, sis. Can you help me out with this? Be specific and be serious because I don't want somebody just asking for the sake of asking. Like I say, when you telling me you have something or you do something just to, mm-mm. I don't. That's not what I'm at. That's not what I'm asking for. That's not what I'm saying at all. You're asking for some genuine, give me some direction, give me some resource, and I'm trusting that you're actually looking for it, and you're going to take the information and do what you need, and come back and say, hey, this helped here, or this didn't. Maybe I did something wrong, or maybe could you give me something else? Maybe I wasn't clear. A lot of times I'm straight on when people ask me the right question. Sometimes they're asking for things and it's the wrong. They're wanting something and I say something, but it's the way they ask, if that makes sense. So try to be specific in what you're doing. But again, pay attention to me because when I do come on and speak like this, I'm trying to help everybody as a whole. That way I don't have to answer 50,000 questions over and over again. That does take up time. But I can say, just have you watched this video? Did you listen to what I said? Did you look at, anything? Have you tried to use, what have you? That type of deal. But yeah, that we had to leave that stuff alone. I know it seems really, really easy, y'all. I'm like everybody else at times with the especially with these box curriculums. Excuse me, y'all. Allergy medicine kicking in. It's so easy for me sometimes to say, "Oh man, if I just use that, my life would be set. I don't have to. I could just modify it to do this, and so much easy." Or I can't. I am not a sellout, y'all. I'm not a sellout. We don't sell out around here. Money is hard to come by, and we not finna just throw it to the other people. You know. If I had to pull some stuff out the sky, I would do that. I'm being serious though. I'm being very serious because sometimes that's what happens and we just run with it, and I'm actually right because I've, done so much research. Um I can just go back and say, yeah, I read something by such and such, because usually I can recall it, but yeah, I just pull it out the sky and it's accurate. And so that's what we're looking for, accuracy, things like that. You don't want to give inaccurate accounts of stuff like that, of what was going on. Some of us still don't realize, we were in America well before slavery. Some of us, just slavery, that's how we got here, and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's crazy. Like I said, that's, the main thing these kids need to know is we had a presence, not to be worried about that Roman, Greek, and, all that stuff, empires and stuff. Um, all of the orators and things like that. That's going to be in the next one. I'm going to give you the flip, what you should be teaching them instead of the plays of Julius Caesar and all of that. There's a time for it. And especially when these kids are little, that is not the time. Yes, they absorb everything, but again, the images that you give them first. And first means until they know everything there is to know about their own culture. And you will find out if you listen, pay attention closely, that there's going to be very little of that type of schooling that you should be doing. And I'm saying that with quotes, okay? You're going to find that out. That's that kind of stuff that you can pull that stuff out the air. Because that information is floating around, you know, like dollar bills. It's just floating around. Once they learn how to read, just give them a book and say, read this. You don't have to spend time teaching that, gathering resource after resource, testing and all of that, building stuff on. No, we not. Build some pyramids, build some Olmec heads, build some, the Nile River, build the African savannah, build the Mount Kilimanjaro, um, built the prison cell to represent Nelson Mandela. I'm serious, y'all. Stuff like that, because some of this stuff I see, it don't have anything to do with anything. It's just indoctrination. Like I said, it's indoctrination. Okay? Give them images that mean something. Give them something that means something. And be make it age appropriate. I'm not telling you to tell your 5-year-old to build a jail cell if your 5-year-old is not understanding that kind of concept. That's not what I'm saying. Um, yeah, but it may be age appropriate. I'm not, we talk about Malcolm X. I said all the time, we always introduce the autobiography at 10 years old. Your 10-year-old may not be ready, but in this house, that is a must and a plus, okay? And they are usually there. The book and the movie. So, I did put out there a while ago, The Hate You Give. These children have viewed and enjoyed, all of them, that movie. And we have had great discussion on that. We still have great discussion on that movie and book. Um, I think the current thing, before I get off here on that, and I'll probably come back later on with that, is the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. And I kind of threw some stuff out there about how, the infamous incident of the between the police officer and and the two kids, the two teenagers, how that all went down, and because the kids are like, okay, tell me what these words mean, break these words down for us, and liberty and justice for all. What does that mean? And it's like when you have kids that are going that deep in, they're not teach me the Pledge of Allegiance and they're gonna say it. No, they're not gonna do that. Not our kids. What does this mean? And those are the kind of, that's what you want. When you get stuff like that, what does this mean? When they are questioning you, when you teach them something and they begin to question you back before they answer you, that's when you know you have it right. Okay? That is the secret. If you give them something and they just repeat it and it just stays there, that's how that indoctrination happens. But when they start questioning you back, not that what you are teaching them is wrong, but when they start questioning you back, that's when you know you got it. Okay? That's what works. Okay? That is what works. You want to get them thinking deeply. And then you have all these discussions about around all these things, and developmentally, age wise, is it appropriate to discuss? If they can ask, you can tell them. Some stuff we're gonna have to tell them regardless. You just can't. Some things you cannot leave out. Like when I pointed out that particular curriculum, and it's showing this XYZ image at this age level. Um, yeah, some of these kids, we got to get on the ball, y'all. We have to get on the ball. We can't just leave stuff by the wayside. Okay. So, like I said, I am going to come back sometime in the next, this is Wednesday, 2 days, and with another segment on culturally grounded, your homeschool. And I'm going to let that one ride for a while. I said that was March. This is October. Mm, yeah. Let it ride for a while and just see what happens. And, I'll continue it, I guess, from there. And I don't know, if anybody happens to be in the chat, I might, of course, there'll be a little dialogue. But it's mainly just because I know sitting down to record something and uploading it might not happen. It's a little bit easier to just go live and talk about it. And the thing is, I'm be able to present these resources quicker and stuff like that. And another reason why live is a little bit better is because you can interact and ask me questions on the spot. So yeah, that's why I said try to catch me live in the next couple of mornings. And yeah, again, I'm not here to offend anybody. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate the feedback and the comments and things like that. Um, I just, like I said, I help where I see fit. That's what I'm doing. I'm helping where I see fit. So we have to teach these babies who whom they are and from where they come. And if it takes the whole 12 years to do that, so be it. Okay? So be it. They need to grow up in an African centered homeschool. And I'm not just talking about, uh, you know, pro black, this and that, because some of us don't even understand that. Because the next thing I hear is, um, I don't know, some craziness. I don't even want, like I said, there's different studies on this and that and who ha. They should be talking about um, the I don't know, the Lewis and Clark or something. Christopher Columbus again. Yeah, that's gonna come up. Like I said, when you have kids that instead of talking about Christopher Columbus and you tell them Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue, some of y'all are woke up to that. But when they can ask you, wait a minute, hold up, he sailed that ship, or who sailed that ship? That's where you want to be. You're not gonna focus it on because like now some of us are woke and we know the truth. He didn't discover it, but you want to focus on the man that actually sailed that ship and what he knew and where he was and where he came from, because it's a whole family he left. Okay, so that's, you want to worry about the family, not Columbus and what he discovered. See how that worked? Because when you teach that part, that's the indoctrination. We don't worry about the rest of them explorers because we sailed some ships. Okay, we did that. We were here. We did that. You know, Kush. You know all that. We did that. But the Greeks and Romans, they stole that. But we not worried about them. See how that worked. I'll see y'all.